Tash Dile and welcome to Tibet This Week. This is Sakina Bhatt with another edition of Weekly News on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama spoke on overcoming anger and anxiety at Tushita's 40th anniversary. Himachal Pradesh Governor Bandaru Dattatreya calls on His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Discussion on ancient Indian tradition with Indian Buddhists and Comm students. Experts expressed deep concern over China's high-tech repression and freedom of religion during 2019 Geneva Forum. Tibet Museum held traveling exhibition titled A Long Look Homeward in Geneva. A resolution recognizing significance of genuine autonomy of Tibet and the Dalai Lama's work introduced in US Congress. Once again, China submits insufficient response on the whereabouts of Panchen-Lama. British Empire Medal awarded to Khen Rinpoche Geshe Tashi Tsering for meritorious service to Buddhism in the UK. Moscow's first international conference on Buddhist civilization and spiritual heritage of peoples of Eurasia. His Holiness the Dalai Lama delivered lecture on overcoming anger and anxiety to over 1,000 of people, including students from over 20 schools in and around Delhi. The event was held at St. Columba's School in New Delhi, celebrating Tushita's 40th anniversary and 12th Dharma celebration. Speaking on the importance of education, His Holiness said that education should be the medium to promote secularisms, compassion and peace. His Holiness called the students as key people who are responsible to build a happy future.
Of 21st century, you are the key sort of people who create this century, more happier century or difficult century. So the generation of 21st century, you have the opportunity and also responsibility.
His Holiness then explained the 8 verses on training the mind written by Geshe Langri Thangpa. His Excellency Governor of Himachal Pradesh Bandaru Dattatreya and His Holiness the Dalai Lama had a productive discussion over the relevance of ancient Indian tradition in the promotion of peace of mind and the potential contributions of Tibetan Buddhist masters and the institutions in the revival of the tradition. The Governor had an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala on Monday this week. The age-old Indian traditions of non-violent conduct, ahimsa, compassionate motivation, karuna, along with a thorough understanding of the workings of mind and emotions, are not only relevant but are also necessary in today's world. His Holiness told the Governor. His Holiness expressed the tremendous gratitude and respect Tibetans hold for India as a source of their spiritual culture and their second home. The Central Tibetan Administration also hosted the Governor. The delegates of the Youth Buddhist Society of India, Sankisa, and a delegation of students and faculty from the Indian Institute of Mass Communication in Delhi met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala on Friday last week. The Sankisa delegation includes students, teachers, doctors and engineers from 13 states, among others. His Holiness began his talk to them by declaring that his primary commitment is to promote the practice of altruism, the awakening mind of bodhicitta.
My number one commitment as a practitioner of altruism, bodhicitta, we always, our prayer, Mother Sentient Being. So entire sentient being is as dear as your mother. So we always used to pray for entire sentient being.
The students and faculty also visited the Central Tibetan Administration and received information on the administration and Tibetan issues. The experts at the 2019 Geneva Forum on China's high-tech repression and freedom of religion expressed their grave concern over the reports of high-tech systematic violations of human rights, of high-tech religious persecution carried out by the People's Republic of China, the repressive policies of the Communist Party of China. The experts called upon the Chinese government for an immediate stop to high-tech human rights violations in Tibet. The two-day 2019 Geneva Forum was inaugurated by Dr. Lobsang Singye and special guest, Honorable Member of the National Parliament of Switzerland, Mr. Carlo Samaruga, on Thursday last week. President Singye noted the high-tech surveillance tools used by China in carrying out repressive policies against the vulnerable people under the control of China, especially the Tibetans, Uyghurs and Southern Mongolians.
Within China, it's reported that through Skynet, they have installed 20 million cameras. It varies, number varies from 20 million to 200 million, but 20 million cameras. In 2010, Chinese government has put 800,000 surveillance cameras in Beijing alone. By 2015, Chinese government claims to have covered the whole of Beijing with surveillance cameras. And through these cameras, what they do is, as it's reported in the, as reported by representative of His Holiness as well, that, through facial reading, through DNA, through biometrics, they generate data. Through this, they create a social credit system. And if your social credit is high, you get to travel, you get to buy tickets. If your social credit is low, you are denied plane tickets. Now this is for Chinese people in China. Now as far as Uyghurs and Tibetans and Mongolians are concerned, if your social credit is low, you are not denied airplane tickets, rather you are sent to prison. So that's how severe is as far as situation in Tibet and East Turkestan and Southern Mongolia is concerned.
A message from His Holiness the Dalai Lama was also read at the forum, in which His Holiness called upon the international community to point out the unjustifiable actions on the part of the Chinese government.
I send my greeting to participate in this Geneva Forum on human rights in the People's Republic of China. I have always maintained that China is an important country with which the rest of the world needs to engage. However, such engagement should always take into account the fundamental values that guide humanity. This means that the international community should not hesitate in pointing out unjustifiable action on the part of the Chinese government, whether in a denial of basic right to the citizen of the People's Republic of China or in action across the globe.
Swiss parliamentarian Mr. Carlo Samaruga assured his support into participating in the resistance against the surveillance of citizens in China, especially against Tibetans and Uyghurs.
As Swiss parliamentarian, I can promise you that with my colleague or member of the Swiss parliamentarian group, Swiss Tibet, we will do all what we can to participate to this resistance about this surveillance of citizens in China especially, and in Tibet and against the Uyghur. We will make what we can to push the Swiss government to move of its position and make more critic about the violation of human rights, the religion express right, and generally all the violation of human rights in China.
The forum focused on 4 cross-cutting issues in China's high-tech repression, technology and future of human rights, high-tech repression of people's faith in China, Beijing export of surveillance technology, and fourth, combating fears of a China-led Orwellian world. Central Tibetan Administration's Tibet Museum held traveling photo exhibition titled A Long Look Homeward in Geneva on Friday last week. A Long Look Homeward is an exhibition based on the collective consciousness of Tibetan memory, commemoration and hope. The exhibition is curated by 11 representatives of Tibetan community in exile who had shared their own personal stories interwoven with the story of their nation and have selected visual representation of their memories. Dr. Singye arrived at Washington, D.C. on Tuesday this week. The Tibetan president met with Senator Tom Tillis, a Republican senator for North Carolina. Senator Tillis agreed to co-sponsor the Tibet Policy and Support Act of 2019 after Dr. Singye explained the human rights concerns of Tibet. Senator Tillis expressed deep concern on China and China's influence on the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and the rest of the world. Dr. Singye also presided over a Senate staffer meeting in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing room. The U.S. Congress's House of Representatives introduced a formal resolution titled Recognizing the Significance of the Genuine Autonomy of Tibet and the Tibetan People and the work His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama has done to promote global peace, harmony and understanding. It was introduced by Representative Ted Yoho along with Representative McCall, Smith and McGovern on Thursday last week. The purpose of the resolution would be for the House of Representatives to recognize the cultural and religious significance of a genuine autonomous Tibet and the deep bond between the American and the Tibetan people. Commends the 14th Dalai Lama for his commitment to global peace and non-violence. Determines that it would be beneficial to convene a bipartisan, bicameral forum either through a joint meeting of Congress, a teleconference broadcast in the auditorium at the Capitol Visitor Center, or roundtable between members of Congress and His Holiness the Dalai Lama to discuss peaceful solutions to international conflicts. Once again, the UN experts have received unsatisfactory and insufficient response from China on the whereabouts of Panchen-Lama Genden Chukinima. The UN Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances expressed that the response received from China about the 11th Panchen-Lama Genden Chukinima was not considered sufficient. The enforced disappearance of Panchen-Lama will remain under the consideration, added the experts in its communication dated 18 November 2019.
The UN Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances have continued to express concern over the unknown whereabouts of the 11th Panchen-Lama Genden Chukinima. In its September session, the UN's working group received response from China regarding the whereabouts of Panchen Genden Chukinima. However, in its latest communication released earlier this week, the UN Working Group on Enforced Disappearances have expressed dissatisfaction about regarding the response given by China, calling it unsatisfactory as well as insufficient information. However, this time China has given an additional information stating that Panchen Genden Chukinima has gone through university and that he has now found a job. Yet, the concern about his whereabouts as well as of his parents still remain unknown. Hence, Central Tibetan Administration as well as Tibetans and supporters around the world will continue to press China to reveal the well-being and whereabouts of Panchen Genden Chukinima and his parents.
Khen Rinpoche Geshe Tashi Tsering was awarded the British Empire Medal for his services to Buddhism in the United Kingdom. Rinpoche received the award from Sir Kenneth Olisa, OBE, Lord Lieutenant of Greater London, on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen at the investiture ceremony at the Tower of London on Friday last week. Geshe Tashi Tsering is an ambassador for Buddhism in the UK and counsellor for Tibetans living in London. The British Empire Medal dates from 1917 and is awarded for meritorious service deemed worthy of recognition by the Crown. Moscow witnessed the first international conference on Buddhist civilization and spiritual heritage of peoples of Eurasia. A 3-day conference was held in central monastery of Kalmykia, where 25 leading linguists and Buddhist scholars from Mongolia, India, Kazakhstan, Canada, Eurasia and Altai republics deliberated on future prospects for the development of historical, cultural, interfaith and language interaction in Eurasia. Honorary representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Russia and Mongolia and CIS countries, Telutulku Rinpoche, inaugurated the conference. So much for today. See you next time and have a great weekend.